So this is Evo. He won the Santa Cruz Bike Build bike over on GMBN Tech. Got him set up on a bike yesterday, got the sag set up roughly, so we're going to go for a couple of laps now just to get him set up on the bike.
Yeah, and I've joined the party as well to do a bit of coaching with Evo on his brand new bike.
So this is actually quite a cool day riding with Evo for the first time. So getting to see how the bike's kind of set up for him. Now what we've done, as I explained in the workshop over on GMBN Tech, was that we set the bike up with around 25 to 30% sag front and rear. But we still don't know if that's right for him because it is like a recommendation, bit of a guideline between 20 and 30. And for Evo, he's come from a hardtail and he's used to hiking for 3 hours carrying the hardtail and then descending on it. So this is a whole new kettle of fish for him. So at the moment, we're just doing a bit of a shakedown just to sort of see how his position is on the bike, see if we can adjust his brakes and maybe his bar position, see how happy he is. And at the same time, Neil is kind of just assessing him as a rider and see what points he can make to kind of pick up on and help him improve. Because as we know from Evo's competition video, when he suffered that skiing crash and he had like a temporarily paralysed leg, and he still has issues where the nerves aren't really sort of working properly with his leg, so he has problems with his foot falling off the pedal. And we're talking about using clipless pedals, but for today we're just working on flat pedals and we're trying to identify when this happens and see if there's any ways you can work around it.
I cannot really feel my legs, so that's why sometimes it looks very strange, because I don't know what I'm doing actually. I just put my leg there and hope for the best.
It's definitely gonna add a level of difficulty because, you know, I can feel my pedals and it definitely helps. I shuffle my feet around a little bit as well. But I've coached people who have prosthetic legs in the past, so just one leg, and it's definitely doable. They can ride to a decent level. It's just, yeah, it takes a bit of extra coaching and a bit of extra thought, I guess.
To begin with, the suspension's working great actually. Look at forks tracking the ground there. The sizing looks good.
First thing I do when I get a new bike is sort out my brake lever angle, and it is definitely down to personal preference. But as Doddy was saying, it can make a bit of difference to where your weight is on the bike. So if you have your levers quite low, it brings your sort of wrists up and onto the bars. And people can end up getting a bit of arm pump then if you've got too much weight on the bars. Bit higher does sort of bring you a bit more comfortably back on the bike, but it can hurt your wrists if you have your levers too high. So yeah, it's all down to personal preference, but it does actually influence where your weight is a little bit on the bike. Have you ever tried riding with clipless pedals?
No, because I'm too afraid to, like, this is the most difficult move.
Oh, twisting.
Yeah.
Doddy, what do you think about clips?
So I had this chat with Evo yesterday in the workshop and I'm kind of in two minds. I actually think clipping in might be beneficial. So you get various different types of clipless pedals. You get like the SPD type, but you're locked in. But the crank ones, you can have various different amounts of float. Yeah. So you attach the pedal so your foot can't come off, but you've got all this movement. Yeah. And I actually think when you're used to the bike, it might be beneficial for you to try it.
That's probably the thing, isn't it? Is you don't want to jump onto a new bike and then get clipped in.
So many new things for Evo to learn. So we've actually given Evo both sets of pedals now. So originally I spec'd the bike with the mallets, but we've got him on a pair of stamps at the moment so you can just get the feel of the bike.
So generous, Doddy. So we're just talking about that actually, Evo. Braking and cornering. Ideally you want to come off the brakes when you're cornering, but actually this is quite a good example where you can see the braking bumps, you can see where people are braking quite hard in the corner, and I find myself dragging my brakes all the way till about here, and that's when I try and look round the corner to the exit, so it feels like I'm really looking over my shoulder, and then I try and release the brakes to get as much grip as I can, because in fact if you let off your brakes up there, you'd be going too fast by the time you got here and went over the back. Yeah. So let's have a couple of goes riding this, you know, quickish on the way in, and think about braking smoothly to about this point, looking over your shoulder and then letting off the brakes, and it should feel like the bike will grip nicely, hopefully. It's good, that is super smooth, Evo, good speed. Next thing, I reckon coaching wise, I'll talk about where your feet are, but because this is quite rough on the way in, you've got these braking bumps, I'll stay up as you were then, level feet. Yeah. And then as I get into the corner, that's when you want to start rotating your pedals to drop your outside foot. You just want to try and get your weight as low as you can for a bit more grip. So weight that outside pedal, then come back up to flat as you were, and then do the opposite. So on the right hand corner, Definitely 2 points to begin with are make sure you look into your exit and trying to get weight as low as possible. And then we'll do one more thing afterwards.
Okay.
Have a blast.
Ivo struggles to feel his foot after the injury, and I know from experience after my broken ankle that can make things difficult. I really feel like cornering does come a lot from the lower body, and if you can't really feel where your feet are, that's going to make it a bit more difficult.
Sounds cool. Look nice and smooth, looking around the corner, and the final thing is just to be really smooth. I talk about this quite a lot with corners, is sort of the inputs to the bike, so brakes, coming off the brakes, looking, but also with the line to make sure everything's really smooth. Nice slow motions on the bike means you get a good amount of grip. You've got some good tyres on today, so I should imagine you'll get a lot of grip around this corner anyway. Conditions pretty good, but it's just looking, weight low into the outside and trying to be smooth on the bike should mean good, fast cornering. Oh, nice one, Ivo. That's super smooth around the corners. Loads of fun, and that's just things to remember. Is trying to be smooth, trying to be fast around the turns, working perfectly. If you want to see a video on how to brake to go faster, click over here for that one.
And if you want to see a video, how did we set up my bike, click over here.
Give us a thumbs up if you like winning free bikes because of GMBN Tech.
I recommend.
Hit that sub button.